Hey everyone, how's it going tonight? I'm so excited to be with you, Don. Good to see you. Thanks for being here, and thanks for asking if I was going to be here. It's nice to feel needed. so tonight's just kind of talking shop. I want this to be kind of just an informal jam session. Tell you what's new with me right now. It's just kind of chill, hang out, and do that kind of thing. So I want to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Um, Hello, Don. I'm happy to see you. Thank you for being here. You notice that cool little black M next to his name. That's because he's just become a channel member. Thank you, Don, very much. Former patron, closed that down, and then he sought me back out and did that. So I hyper honored, and I don't know what to say. Don's been an amazing supporter of me and this channel for a very long time. Uh, so yeah, I here's the thing is that I really should have more of a plan whenever I do live streams, like what I want to talk about. But the thing is that so many great topics come out of our chats that I feel like if I plan too much, then we never get to whatever I plan. So Eugene Berger used to say that, may you rest in peace, have a script, but don't be afraid to go off of it. And maybe that's the right solution, and maybe that's what I should start doing in regards to the streams. But just like spending time with you guys. Uh, Don says you were definitely needed. Thank you, Don. And Robert's here. Hey, what's going on, man? So, it shows me as the only other person. I've only just begun in Magic. Yeah, I've welcome. Thank you for being here. Don was here earlier. Sometimes I don't know if it's a YouTube thing or if it's a internet on my side or their side, but people tend to pop in and out. Yeah, I'm only showing one viewer right now too, but it's also I get an inaccurate count. So I'm not sure. I'm never sure at any given point how many people are actually watching. So there's Don there. So you guys both have to be on here, even though there's just one viewer. You've only just begun in Magic. That's awesome, and I'm so glad that you have chosen to watch this channel as you're starting on your journey learning Magic. I would love to talk to you about any questions you have about any of it. That's kind of what the point of this channel is to share what I've learned over how long I've learned it. I don't want to date myself, but I've been doing Magic over 20 years and professionally for coming up on 13 years this year. So it's I have some stuff. I know some stuff, and I don't know what's actually valuable. Like people have to ask me the right questions sometimes because I don't know what I know that other people don't necessarily because it's so second nature. So if you have a question, please ask it. There's no such thing as a silly question. Um, Don says he has a question. I have. Have you ever rented a venue to do magic show? And if you have, how do you go about booking the venue? That's a good question. No, I've never successfully done that. I've made several attempts. There was a restaurant that I used to work with, steakhouse in Dallas, and I performed at their wine dinners and a lot of their special events throughout the year, and had a really good, nice working relationship with them. And they had a lot of extra space, a lot of private dining rooms. It was a two-story steakhouse, and they had a lot of rooms that were empty most of the week. When they did have them full, they were, they'd try to sell them out to corporate meetings and that kind of stuff, just to, whatever. But a lot of times they were empty, and if they're paying for all that space and they're not getting money out of that, those are empty rooms. I was like, well, here's the thing. What if we can bring people in and keep one of your rooms full, like on a weekly basis? And so that was my premise to the manager for proposing this. And so what him and I did is we sat down and we talked about making it an exclusive dinner where they would get some kind of small catered menu, and then they would also have wine and the magic show, and they would pay one ticket price. They would have to charge whatever they had to cover their costs, and then I would add my per person fee on top of each ticket. So that way, if it was like turned out to be $100 a person or something, then we would have a split of that of our own costs and profits and all that kind of stuff. So, and it was meant to keep their room busy, and we talked about it loved the idea, talked about it, and then when it came time to actually implement it on a couple of different occasions, something came up or they could no longer do it, or there was always a reason, right? And so I don't know what happened there necessarily. I always want to give the benefit of the doubt, but it got a little bit frustrating after a while to put all this work in and prepare this and then not have it go anywhere. The other thing was that, where was the other place that I was looking at doing it? Oh, my friend John Martin. He owns a venue called On the Levee in Dallas. If you ever get a chance to go out there, you need a great venue either for corporate events or for weddings. I mean, really anything. That's what they highly specialize in. But really, it's a great venue for any kind of event you want to have. Lots of space and lots of flexible space. I've talked with him about holding a magic show up there, like selling tickets to the public and holding a magic show up there. And so that's something we've toyed around with the idea of doing. We all got real busy right after that inquiry, though, when the last quarter of the year. I spoke to him maybe about that in maybe July or August of last year, and at the time I was like, yeah, it's not a lot going on yet, and maybe we can do that. And then, of course, him and I got fully booked up, and then now it's impossible to get space at his venue, and it's impossible for me to do that. So, but I have looked at it a lot. I have friends that do that. I have a couple mentalist group. It's a husband and wife team that do a mentalism act, and they do that out of a hotel. And they rent the room. There's 2-walling and 4-walling are the two big ways to do that. And one is to completely pay for the space yourself. You take all the ticket sales. And then the other way, which is where you kind of do a split, where they get the entire door, and you get like bar sales, right? You get. So there's different ways to try that. If you're really serious about doing it, I can either connect you with the right people, and they can give you some hints, people that I know actually do it. Also, my friend Eddie, Confetti Eddie, he's a burlesque magician, which is actually a really unique and cool thing. And I've played at his venue that he used to have before pre-pandemic. Played there many times. It was the only place I would perform publicly for a long time, and that was a wonderful space. And so that's something that I know he now is working with other troops now that he's closed down that studio. He's working with other groups and implementing the magic in other programs and stuff. So we also talked during the pandemic about renting out a movie theater and then doing like a split in-person / virtual program, and using the movie screen in the magic show. So that there's a lot of ways to do it. So yeah, if you really want to learn more about that, I'd be happy to connect you with people who I know a lot more than me. Condo Chords here. Hey, Condo. Hello. Robert says, I'm still working on my double lift, holding a break, and trying simple cardistry. Cool. My suggestion to you, take it or leave it. If you want to be a cardist, just work on the cardistry, right? I think most magicians and cardists would agree that cardistry is just flourishing and not any magic is really a form of juggling, and it's awesome and it's a beautiful craft in its own right. But if you're going to learn magic, learn all the fundamentals of magic first before really worrying about the flourishing. Because if you can do some really beautiful flourishes and fans and one-hand shuffles and all these kinds of things and cuts and all that, people are going to want to see a card trick. And if you can't do one yet, you peacocked, as we call it in the industry, for no reason. You go, hey, look at me, I'm really cool. And it's really actually hard to hold an audience's attention with just cardistry unless you actually have a routine set up. So I would recommend sticking to one vein and learn as much in that area as possible. And then whenever you start going, okay, well, I think I've learned most of the moves. I got a lot of card tricks that I can do. Then worry about maybe adding a little bit of flourish or something onto it. But flourishes for magicians are just icing on a cake. They're not the main thing. So it's fun to play around with them, and it's fun to kind of figure out what you can do with cards that you didn't know you could do before. But humbly, I would suggest that you learn as much about basic card technique as possible. One of the best books for that is Expert Card Technique. That's by Browie. That's an excellent one. That's where I would start, because it'll take you from 0 to 60 really quickly. Also, if you have the money and the access to them, the Card College series by Roberto Giabbi is incredible. It's where I got my start in card magic, and humbly, I have the unofficial title of like the best card guy in Dallas. So, and everything I learned was from those books, and then I of course added on afterwards. But I became a fair to decent card magician with just his first book. They ran about $35 when I was younger. So that's. Yep, I'm working my way through Expert Card Technique. Excellent, fantastic. Preaching to the choir then. Great, that's fabulous. Any tips on mentalism? Well, I'll tell you what. Excuse me. I'll tell you what Bob Cassidy would say, and that was that you needed to create your limitations, right? If you were presenting supposed psychic powers, what are those powers, and what are their limits, right? Like Superman is really powerful, but if he didn't react to kryptonite, and if he could see through lead, then there's really no limitations on how strong, or it becomes uninteresting whenever there's no struggle or no conditions in which you cannot work. So limitations and understanding like what you want to present as your powers, if we'll call them that, right? Your presumed supernatural abilities, what those are. Do you have telekinesis? Can you bend silverware? Can you move objects without touching them? Can you only move certain types of objects? Maybe you can only move metal but not wood. Maybe it's that you are clairvoyant. Maybe it's that you can tell the future. Maybe it's that you can tell the immediate future. Maybe it's that you can plant your thoughts into someone else's head. Understand what it is that you want to present, and then what that allows you to do is it doesn't really remove necessarily the effects that you can perform, but what it will do is it will create conditions under which you need to work. So it adds an air of legitimacy and theater to however you decide to present these effects. If you just like, I can do anything, then it loses some of the mentalist part, and then you get some of the Superman part where you're now considered a magician. So if you're trying to be a mentalist, it's a whole other thing. Like whenever I work as a mentalist, I hide all of my card skill. I don't let anybody know that I also perform as a magician. I don't let anybody know that I have any kind of skill with cards at all. I will shuffle cards terribly. I will drop them on the floor. I will put on my Clark Kent glasses and pretend I'm an entirely different person and character for whenever I present mentalism, because it just adds to an air of legitimacy and makes, I think, the experience for the audience more interesting and engaging. Diamond Jim does rent venues. He has been in the industry a while. I know that he rents a venue out from a friend of his who has a large band. I think it's Intensity Band, and they have a space that they work out of, and then they also will record music videos and custom stuff. And then he has a full on production studio and a stage and all this kind of stuff. And so I know that he's rented out that place from his friend quite a few times to do his one-man show. So that's cool. Don said, I ordered Dan Harlan's Tarbell 34 on how to routine a show. I got a lot of information from it. It's on Penguin Magic. Yeah, Don, I highly recommend that. The triple trilogy, More Than Meets the Eye. That is a fantastic format for building a show. It's the format that I use to build my programs. It is a excellent, logical, theatrical layout for a program. Now, again, that's just the skeleton. Here's a debate that I've had a long time with a friend of mine is about how to present magic. With like something like a Grand Illusion show, there's a joke amongst sleight of hand magicians that they're basically glorified furniture movers because they wheel a box on, they do the thing, they wheel a box on, they wheel another box on, they do the thing, they wheel that box off, and that's the show, right? And I think that's a humorous reduction of what a stage magician actually does. But there isn't necessarily much in the way of tying the things together, right? They can just be, hey, look at this neat box. Hey, look at this neat box, for the entire show, and that's fine. And people love that. You have all the fanfare and the music and the dancing and all the stuff, and you can get very theatrical with the presentation. But whenever it comes down to like the meat of the storytelling, is there really a story there? Not every magic show, I feel, needs to be in and of itself, right? You can have a program that is lighthearted. Look at the Amazing Jonathan, for instance. His whole shtick is that he's kind of making fun of the stereotypes that magicians have, and there's no real story there. There's not like there's not a beginning, middle, and end. There's not character development. There isn't there isn't that. Sure, there are conflicts and resolutions because a lot of all magic, in fact, almost all magic is conflict and resolution, or conflict and not resolution. But it's just there are just these little staples, I want to call them, in between routines where it's just a bridge from one routine to the next, and that might be as simple as that you introduce the prop that you're going to need for the next trick in the previous trick. So you're doing a trick with that you need a stapler for. You might do a gag or a spiel or something with the stapler in the preceding trick, and then now you have the stapler out, and then it's already there, and so you can use that to do the next thing or whatever. Or running gag is another good way to kind of, or callbacks. These are ways to kind of mesh a show together and make it feel somewhat coherent. But yeah, you do need to know what you're wanting to say, and that might just be that you have a couple of pieces in your program that touch on a subject or subjects that are important to you, and maybe each of those hover around a main theme. But I don't think that you need to, at least in my humble opinion, I don't think that you need to sit down and write a novel for your story. They don't have the same. Look at action movies. People spend millions and billions of dollars watching action movies. The Expendables, it's a very loose plot, right? That's not even really the thing. It's really more about the spectacle, right? And so you have to decide what you want your show to be. If you have something that you want to say, put it in there, right? Don't need to be overt about it, but if there's something you want to express, put it in there. But I don't think you necessarily need that. Big Hands is here. What's up, Big Hands? Good to see you, bud. It's been a hot minute. How cool is Diamond Jim's Corvette? Which one? He gets a new one every couple of years. Jim, I'm not giving you a hard time there, but yeah, he likes to keep fresh with his. I actually spoke to him today. I'm covering a gig for him mid-February, but he's he gets a new Corvette every couple of years. The one that I drove with him down to Austin with whenever my first appearance on Scam Nation, which was well before I had the Magic Minute. I rode with him down in the Corvette. He scares the crap out of me in that Corvette. I drive like overly cautious. I've always driven that way. I learned to drive with a defensive driving school in Michigan, and so like I'm always like, okay, just the speed limit, or you know, okay, all right, let's look left, look right. Um, and Jim's a safe driver, but he's also he knows he's got a Corvette and he can open it up. And occasionally, on the long stretches of road from Dallas to Austin, he'll open it up a little bit. And I am not used to that sensation. So, but they are the vets are cool. He's had a lot of custom work. Every time he gets one, he gets custom work done to it. He has custom embroidery done to the seats. So he'll have card suits in it. You know, his license plate says Bamboozler, right? So I mean, yeah, it's a thing. And of course, there's a flex whenever he pulls up to a gig and that. I mean, yeah, toss the keys to the valet, walk inside. Sure, it's cool. It's cool. I'm I'm in the phase of my life where I'm doing everything I can not to buy a minivan. So um, the card really condo. Look at the Card College series and Robert. Card College is it's beautiful. It is you will learn a lot from the Card College series. Expert card technique is also fantastic and should not be discounted in any way. You can have an entire career from what you learn in expert card technique. You don't really need anything else. But if you're looking for really clear instructions, very very nice illustrations, it's in fact I might grab it later tonight if you guys want to see that. I can kind of like cover the text or whatever, but show you some of the illustrations. My copy of the book. I got my copy when I was 14. I want to say I got it as like I was like wanting to get into serious sleight of hand card magic. I had played around with different gimmicks and coin magic and some card stuff, but I didn't really know what I wanted to get into. And then I was like, you know what? I really want to learn card magic. I like straight up with a regular deck of cards. I so my mom bought that for me for my birthday. We went to a place called the Wonderground, which was in Royal Oak, Michigan. I don't know if it's still there or not, but the guy, the magician at the counter, he had like these really long dreadlocks. Cool guy. It was a cool place, and it's permanently burned into my memory now. So yeah, excuse me. Hey, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Thanks for being here tonight. Don twisted my arm and got me on stream, so here I am. Give me a second, y'all, because I want to get a drink. I've been talking a lot. It tends to drive me out. So I'll be back in 30 seconds, okay? Okay, sorry, that was a little bit longer than 30 seconds, but I decided while I was up from my desk, I would grab my copy of Card College to show y'all. So, um, see, it sucks. Magic shops, at least around me, all went out of business. Yeah, it's happened here too. There's only one place in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex, and I have to say that I hate that term Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex because if you combine the entire land area that the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex covers is larger than some states. I mean, seriously, like Fort Worth, depending on time of day, can take me 2 to 2.5 hours just to drive to Fort Worth, which is still considered part of the Metroplex, right? It's just part of Texas. The scale in which Texas is much larger. We measure how long it takes us to get to a place, not in miles, but in time. So if you drive less than 45 minutes somewhere, you're doing good. So there's only one shop left, and that's the Magic Etc. in Fort Worth. I used to work at a magic shop in McKinney, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas. It's about maybe 30 minutes north of 40 minutes north of Dallas, and only about 20 minutes from me north here where I'm at. And yeah, I used to work there for years, and then I stopped working there as a demo guy, and then but I kept the relationship with the shop. Would go in there all the time, buy stuff, and then I got asked if I would mind spearheading their summer camps. So I taught summer camps for a couple of years there, and that was really cool. Taught magic to dozens of kids there over the years. So it was a really cool thing. I really enjoyed it a lot, and they had to close, and it was very sad, and it's still very sad. We used to have a place in Plano, which is where I live, and it was in downtown Plano. There was a place called the Queen of Hearts, and that place closed even earlier than Main Street Magic and Fun Company, which is where I worked. Yeah, a lot of people came through there too. We had Eugene Berger talked at my magic shop. It was cool stuff. But yeah, it's a thing now. We only got one surviving shop. There used to be even more. There used to be Magical Gadgets, and then there was a couple of magic shops all around, dotting the landscape of the Dallas Fort Worth area. They all closed over the years. And it's just the only ones that I see that usually stand a chance are ones that blend a magic shop with something else, like costume rental, or something in a similar related vein, lighting for events or something. Magic Etc. in Fort Worth is a costume rental shop and also has a magic shop in it. They also have, that's why they're called Magic Etc. They also have the rights to produce Abbott's magic props, original Abbott's magic props, which is cool. They do that here in Texas now, which is awesome. But yeah, there are not a lot of places left, and it's very sad. It's very sad. You lose that connection. It's another reason I started this channel was to have communion with other magicians, because I used to go up to the shop to do that. I used to, hey, bump into somebody, be like, hey man, how's it going? How's work? How's the kids? Whether you were a magician or not, whether you were a full-time magician or not, you just knew other hobbyists and magicians in the area, and you would, see him at the shop. That's where you saw him. So it was a cool culture, and it's being lost. Let's Don says your video on your no members channel when you were doing a show. How many people were there? Oh, I think it was for the graduation party. Is what you're referring to. I don't know how many people. I could hazard a guess. I'd say there's about 50 people there. That feels about right, but I don't actually have a number count. I don't know. Felt like about 50 people. There seem to be a few magician groups here in and near Atlanta. I'm not sure how to tell who would be good. So here's the thing, Robert. I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you're an adult or if you're under 18 or not. But you want to, if you're if you're a child or if you're a younger adult or a younger man, you want to make sure that your parents, of course, check out their strangers, right? So make sure they're checking out these people and they know who they are and that you're chaperoned in some way. If you're an adult, different story. Um, there's really the only way, and it's kind of like the same thing with me with networking groups. I belong to a lot of different networking groups over the years. I belong to different professional organizations, most recently MPI, or Meeting Professionals International. I was a member of theirs for 3-4 years, very high dues every year to stay a member, and I gave it a good long shot and kept showing up to the meetings, kept meeting with people, getting to know people in the industry, and I never felt like I was getting enough value out of it. And so this year was the year I decided that I was going to step away from it. It wasn't for me. I'm not going to renew this year. For some people, it's great. For me, it doesn't tend to yield the kind of returns or results that I was hoping for. So I'm looking at other professional organizations. But the only way to really try or to know is to go to them and try them out, right? Like this, if they're not on the same night, go to both, right? Or go to one week and go to one of the next. See if you like how they're doing things there. See if one feels more like a fit for you. And that's really the only thing you do. Yeah. 42. Oh, yeah, you don't need to worry about that. You're fine. Not that I'm trying to ask anybody how old they are on the channel, but they're, and this is ugly. It's not something maybe I'll talk about in more depth with more thought and care put into my words. But magic, unfortunately, there are people in our industry who are bad actors and want to harm children, right? And so that's always a thing that I'm cautious to let people know about, is that, like, hey, yeah, do the same thing like you would do anywhere. If you're gonna let your kids hang out with strangers, you should probably know a decent amount about them, where they're going to be, what activities are going to be, who else is there, just like you would as any parent, right? But that's a thing that I've heard too many terrible stories about abuses, and it's a very serious topic, and I want to make sure they do it justice. So maybe we'll talk about that in a future episode. But yeah, it's a real serious concern. Widespread? Not really, but it's enough that should probably be a little bit thoughtful about that. Just late to the party. Become a member and Alan will shave his head. I like that. That's hilarious. I will. If you become a member, I guarantee you, Scout's honor, I will shave my head. I'll shave my head on camera. You become a member. Well, if you guys are bringing it up, just quickly, so that I can satisfy the conditions or whatever. Make sure I'm doing myself a service, or not doing myself a disservice. I do have channel memberships. You can become a channel member for as low as 99 cents a month. That's you could spend that on a pack of gum, and it helps to support me and the content that I create. Allows me to purchase new effects for review, and helps me update equipment, that kind of stuff. Really keeps the channel going. So for as little 99 cents a month, you get some cool perks. You get those cool little symbols next to your color-coded symbols next to your name. You get custom emoji. You get your name mentioned in every video. And then if you go to the $2.99 membership, you get like exclusive videos behind the scenes. You get to see full shows of me performing. You get tutorials that are not available to regular. So it's for 99 cents or $2.99. I think you get a really tremendous value, and something I invite you to check out. If you don't want to join, no hard feelings. I'm still here, still doing the content you love and know. But if you want to dig deeper, those options are available, and they're greatly appreciated if you decide to join. Um, yeah. Are there fewer people who are interested in learning magic? No, actually, what's cool about the internet, and one of the reasons I love having a YouTube channel for magicians, is that in a cool way, just like whenever I was coming up in the early '90s, the people that in 2000s, the people I came across were people like Jay Sankey and R. Paul Wilson and Lance Burton and these kind of people. And those were the kind of people that I was exposed to as a performing magician, and then also, learning from in a cool way, um, in a humbling way. I have become, and this channel has become, that introduction to magic for an entire new generation after me. Um, and I don't even mean necessarily young people, just another generation of magicians or magi, even if you're 42, right? That's really cool and really humbling, and it's a huge responsibility that I don't take lightly. I'm not flipping about. It's very humbling. But yeah, somehow, because somewhere between when I was born and now, the internet was became mainstream, and you could start doing live streaming video on it. Um, and then digital cameras became so cheap that they were just something you carried in your pocket. It wasn't even the main function. It's impossible for this not to have come about as a natural evolution and progression of magic. And I think the only difference, really, whenever you're watching a magic channel on YouTube, the ones that I don't like are the ones where they're just revealing stuff to reveal it, right? Like doing the masked magician thing, where they come on and they go, "Here's how David Blaine did this. Here's how Chris Angel does that." Oh, that's not magic. That's just simple trickery, you stupid human, right? Like that kind of stuff. I don't think has any value. I don't think it has any value. You're not improving. You're not leaving the world better than you found it. But take the case of something like Scam Nation, or humbly this channel. It's more about the culture of magic. And yes, there are tutorials on this channel. I do teach a lot of stuff, but it's nothing that you couldn't go find at your local library, or that is in public domain, which belongs to everybody. If you are so inclined to learn magic, there are a lot of very high quality free resources available to you right now. Go to archive.org, go to Project Gutenberg, anywhere that has public domain books will have a lot of really good, solid titles that are still considered very alive and relevant titles today. You can get for free on the internet because you are entitled to them under public domain. So the access is there. And so it just, I think it becomes the responsibility of magicians not to try to guard the information, because guess what? The cat's out of the bag, right? Anything you want, you can, at a couple key presses, you can have access to a lot of magic knowledge for free. Anybody who's so inclined. But if somebody is so inclined and is going through the effort to specifically look on how to learn to do magic, not how magic is done, but how to do magic, then I think you have an obligation to have high quality content in those areas to put those newcomers to magic in the right direction, you know? So I think we have a responsibility of creating the best, highest quality versions of magic tutorials online within ethical guidelines, things that are not marketed effects that people are still earning a living on, but which what I would consider part of revealing magic. It's not your place or right to do that. But under public domain guidelines, sure, have at it. So we should be making the best content. Magicians should be taking it seriously and making the best content available online. Soapbox. Oh, great. We've got one of those bots. Does anybody have it? Do you have you still have the rights, right? Can you block them if you haven't already? I don't know what's going on with these people. Excessive balding should put me in the 40s club. I'm 34, y'all. I started balding when I was 17. I was like a lion without his mane. I was like, hey, just about the time I started noticing girls and wanted to be attractive to them, I started looking like their grandpa. So, thank you, Ed. Appreciate you, Bubba. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, I also found out that people upgrade their membership. They only pay the difference. Yep, that's true. That's true. Yeah, no, it's a good deal. It's actually a really solid deal. I think it's. I had Patreon for a while, and that was excellent, and that helped me in ways that I still can't measure, um, especially throughout 2020. But I started to feel like I couldn't keep up enough with Patreon. I felt like I owed my patrons a lot more than I was able to deliver, and then trying to play two platforms like that, I was stretched extremely thin. And then I started working again. Came out of the pandemic. We're out of 2020 really. We're still not out of the pandemic, but came out of 2020, and then the first part of 2021 came out of that, and then like hit the ground running, and then just started working my butt off. I didn't have a free day for like 3-4 months, and I'm getting that way again. I had a nice little rest, and I'm starting to get busy again, which is great. But I don't have the time that I did whenever I wasn't working. I was just sitting around, had all day to dream up content and to film videos and everything. It was a lot easier then. I could take on that kind of workload to produce that kind of content at that frequency, and I can't do that anymore. And so I made the decision that I would close down my Patreon instead of asking my patrons at the time to continue to contribute, but with diminishing returns. I didn't feel comfortable doing that, so I decided to close that down, open up the channel membership on YouTube. I became partner, so I was able to do that, and then consolidate everything to one platform, offer it at the lowest price I possibly could, and put it out there. So that's kind of why that shift or that change happened. And I think it's a fabulous deal. So I don't want to talk about it so much that I wear everybody out. It's not this live stream is not about putting on a commercial. So, but yeah, worked very hard to make it something I think is valuable and sustainable. Robert says the root of the word magic is the same as the root of the word machine, which is mag, meaning to be able to have power. Yes, I will now press your buttons. How's that for an opening? Nice. Nice. It sounds like a come on a little bit. I will press your buttons. You can't ban. Okay. I'll take a look at how to do that. Thank you. But as long as their messages aren't continuing to come in or whatever, then we can just leave it, and then I will go through and ban them after that. After the stream. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate you. The kids are doing great. My son will be 5 in March, and my daughter 2 in May. So they're getting up there. They're growing up, and my son is hilarious. He gets more and more interesting and fun every day because he's got kind of the base level understanding down now, and now he's acquiring new knowledge about the subtleties about human interactions and how the world works and his place in it and all that kind of stuff. So he's a fun and interesting person to be around, and it's super fun. My daughter, she's of course just a cutie pie, right? Because she's still a baby or a young toddler, so she's just a ball of cute, and also a ball of tears and fits sometimes. but what child isn't? But yeah, they're everybody's happy, healthy. Um, we're all doing really good. So, and now that Daddy's working again, that yeah, I it's great because I feel like I can do some other things to then provide and take care of them. Um, Besides, of course, just being here, which is a lot, um, but also financially to be able to care for them. So, um, yeah, it's been great being able to go back to work. But then whenever I do shows out of town, I'm going back to St. Louis in March to do another show for a client out there, and hopefully we'll actually be back there a lot. I have really nice relationship with them, and I'm hoping that these are the first of many more programs with this particular client. Um, but that means that Dad's got to travel and be gone for 3-4 days at a time, and so that's. I remember when I came home. I left back in December. It was December 18th, 19th, and 20th. And when I got back home on the 21st, I'm sorry, no, the 20th, the kids all just poured in, Dad, and like ran up and gave me hugs. My daughter grabbed me around my legs. My son jumped up in my arm. It's a good feeling to be back home and to feel loved like that. Um, of course, it also hurts in equal measure to leave them. So it's what I'm not saying anything new. Work and home life balance is very important. When you work from home, that gets very difficult to manage, and sometimes I just have to go. Nope, my phone is off. I'm done looking at emails. I'm done with answering calls for the day. I have to have a time that I'm not accessible because otherwise it would just be all the time. My number's public, right? Anybody can get it. That's not an invitation to call me, but yeah, I have a public number, and it's very easy to get a hold of me um, any time of day. And I've gotten text messages 3 o'clock in the morning from people asking me about something like, "Why are you not asleep?" and "Why are you texting me?" And no, I'm not answering right now. Don's asking me, when you work every day doing magic, what are some of the types of gigs you do on weekdays? I mean, that's a grab bag, man. That could be anything. This past quarter, there was a lot of. I worked with one of the cool things I did, and I actually got this gig through Diamond Jim, was a haunted house. So it was like a haunted house experience where you would go through, and there were like, it was in an old mansion in downtown Dallas, and each room had a different theme, but they were all haunted in some way, and each room had a different drink. And one of the rooms was just a magician, right? And so they would come and get their drink, and then I had like a cocktail table there, and I would greet them as they came in and talk with them for a few minutes and show them some magic. And sometimes you'd have a really big crowd that would gather all around them in a big circle and everything, and then they would go on to the next room, and then the next group would come in, and then it was lather, rinse, repeat. And so those are things that happen on the weekday. Those happen every day of the week. I wasn't able to do every day of the week, but those were the days that I had free. I almost all filled them up with that for all of October and some of November. I also work with a couple of companies. I have a client that is a financial firm that has that does new employee hires constantly. And so when they're doing these onboarding things, one of the things they like to do is they like to show, hey, yeah, we're a fun company. You made a good choice by coming with us. We're going to do some team building during the day. We're going to do all the orientation stuff. And at night, we're going to open it up and let you guys mix and mingle and have a good time and everything. And so they find that a magician is perfect there because it helps grease the wheels of interaction and helps strengthen bonds and relationships with all these new hires who are going to then go and fly back out to their respective places around the country. But they've formed some friendships and made some connections. And I take away the awkwardness of meeting new people. And so those are what I filled most of the rest of the days with, weekday stuff. And then the weekends, of course, and then there are a good number of just good old regular corporate events that happen during the weekdays. But most of the stuff that I did, like Friday and Saturday nights were bigger corporate things, or holiday parties. I did a couple house parties this past year. Don't advertise those. I don't do a lot of them, but they're fun when that works out. Occasionally, had a couple of adult birthday parties, which were smattered throughout there, and all good stuff. It was just really really fun the whole time. It was a lot of work, and a lot of going. That's in my other magic case. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. I got to go get that one, and then I've got to switch these things back over to here, and I've got that, and then, which suit did I wear that night? Which pocket did I leave that in? Because you get home and you take it off and you crash, and then you'd be like, okay, well, I have all my stuff spread out all over these different locations, and now I have to reconsolidate them every single day, and so it became, a little bit of a logistical chore, and so I'm having to get more organized so that that doesn't happen anymore. But yeah, I hope I answered the question there. When you work here, I can put them in timeout and delete messages. Okay, that works for me, Ed. Thank you. I will be I'll be banning him after them. I don't know if it's a he or her, but I'll be banning them after the live stream. Thank you for helping me take care of that. I really appreciate that. Y'all don't know it. Excellent moderator, the king of moderation. Thank you. That's what the M stands for. It's moderator. Yeah. Don says I got to make it down to see in St. Louis. I will be there. Let me find out. It's the middle of March. I think it's March 19th, but let me double check. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just looking. I'm sorry. Deep. Oh Lord. Let's see here. I'm so sorry. I will be there. Okay, yeah, it is March 19th. So I'll probably land the 18th. I don't know what time I'll be able to get a flight yet. I'm still waiting to get my flight. There's some details we have to work out about. I think I'm supposed to stay at the casino with the group, but not sure about that. Not sure about some of the logistical things and how those are getting paid for and who's paying for them and reimbursements and all that kind of stuff. So I will probably come in on the 18th, and then I'll leave the 20th. And I don't know what kind of time I'll have in between those things because I don't know how long or when I'll arrive and exactly when I'll leave and what time frame I'll need to be available on the 19th for the program. Just that they're still solidifying some of that stuff. So I don't know exactly from what time to what time. But yes, 18th, 19th, and 20th, I will be in St. Louis for some amount of time. And as I get closer, I'll tell you, and that'd be really cool to meet you. So in person anyway. So yeah, I'll let you know. I am wearing a cape with a red thing. Blah. Welcome to my humble abode. I don't drink blood anymore, but I drink things out of blood-colored containers. It makes me feel good. I don't know. Alexa, lights to red. Sorry if I just triggered your smart speaker. How's that better? Is that better? No? But worse? I don't know. Alexa, lights to blue. Alexa, lights to blue. There it is. Okay. It heard me. It just took a minute. Better? Worse? I don't know. But yeah, something I'm going to be doing more on this channel, hopefully in the very near future, is I want to start reviewing some more magic products. That's something, there's a lot of magic crap that comes out, unfortunately. And I know I've had some people who came to the defense of the watch, and I know that I didn't give credit for this last time, and I really should. The Black Ops watch that I have here, which I still have right here on my desk. This was lent to me from Landon Stark, a good friend of mine, who also gives me a lot of his old magic all the time. And so I can't tell you just so much. And I feel super guilty every time, but I think I'm doing him a favor. So at least that's how what I like to tell myself. But yeah, this came from him. I had asked him about it, or he told me he was going to get it, and I had my okay. When I saw the trailers and all the stuff that came out about it, and then he's like, "Well, yeah, no, I got it. Actually, I was like, can I borrow it for a review? Because I would like to see if my preconceived notions are confirmed or not, and also share that with my audience at large." So I did, and I need to return this to him. So thank you very much, Landon, for this, and you'll be getting this back soon. I also have a couple of his other books and things that I've got to return. But yeah, I want to do more magic reviews. I want to do more stuff about like what's coming out, what's hot, what's not. But here's the thing, that costs money. I don't get sponsorships, and neither do I want them. That's the thing, is one thing that makes me free to talk about this kind of stuff. Be like, illusionist, not one of your better ones, and be able to say that and like not worry about it, is that I don't have any sponsorships with anybody. I don't have any sponsorships with it, or anybody who's got piles of cash they're sending me or anything to review their products. The only things that I've got, like, I've got things like from let's say from Kyle Purnell, which he's been gracious enough to send me review copies of, and I told him, hey, look, or Danny Goldsmith is also reached out to me. I've had a number of others, but I say, hey, look, yeah, I'll take a look at it and review it, but I'm gonna be honest about it. If I don't like it, I'm gonna say that, and they're like, that's cool. I wouldn't expect any less from you. So whenever that's a reaction, I'm like, better do it. But yeah, with some of this other stuff that comes out, Illusionist doesn't give a crap about my program. I don't think anybody from Illusionist watches my channel or not. I don't know. I hope they do, because when they deserve credit, I give it to them, and when they don't, I tell it like it is. But I'm only able to do that because I'm a free agent. I don't have any responsibilities or conflicts of interest. So contributions like from the channel membership are things that do help me to go purchase that stuff. All the stuff I make from the channel goes right back into the channel. So that's how I'm able to afford things to review and stuff. So trying to build that up a little bit more. Until that's at a sustainable level, I won't be able to do a lot of reviews, because that's now I'm spending money out of my own pocket to do this stuff, and maybe stuff that I never perform. So there's the thing. So yeah. Oh, hey, Justin's here. What's up, man? What's up? You are like the Consumer Reports of magic. Yeah, well, thank you, and I will wear that badge. I've been doing magic a long time. I've seen good stuff. I've seen crap. I've seen everything in between. I saw stuff that would like only work for like 4 people in the world. Or I've seen stuff that's extremely clever, and you'd be like, man, that is just such a intelligent handling and such a clever secret and everything. But like, does it matter? Do you actually need to be that clever? Do you need to like, why are you doing a slip shift whenever a top palm would accomplish the same thing effectively, right? Depending on what you're doing with it. So, and that was a shot at Justin. But yeah, it does. I don't know. You do want that. This is good. This is crap. This is clever. But will you actually use it, or do you need to actually be that clever, or do something that you already know already work? So Um, and I like not being bound to anybody and not having to appease any of my overlords. I can just say what I feel and be honest about it. So, and sometimes I like stuff that other people don't like. I like stuff that people think is stupid, and I'll think stuff that's stupid that other people think is awesome. And it's just one guy's opinion. My idea is to just maybe give you a different perspective on it before you buy it. I'm guilty of it. I don't know if you guys buy it. Like before you buy a new piece of technology, you watch every single video on it that you possibly can. Before I bought my iPhone, I was like, before I buy any iPhone over the last several years, well, what's the damage resistance? Is it water resistant? To how far? Let's do some drop tests. What's the software look like? What can this one do that the other one can't? Is it really a worthy upgrade? Do I want to spend another over $1,000 for another phone if it doesn't do that much more? What do I care about? What don't I care about? What's actually just a gimmick and what's actually good? So, yeah, I'd like to do the same thing with Magic, right? Just Magic Orthodoxy is a fantastic channel for that. Magic Orthodoxy has a lot of really good, frequent stuff on his channel. And I know that he's got enough of a following and everything to be able to fund it with the channel. I'm not there yet. But him and I, while I respect the hell out of him and I agree with him on a lot of things, there are a couple things that I don't agree with. Illusionist quoted him recently on his take on the Black Ops watch, and I can't I disagree with him. I disagree with him wholeheartedly, and but that's fine, right? We are all different, but yeah, I think that another perspective is helpful. So it's stuff I want to do more of. So we've been streaming for an hour and 4 minutes. It's already 10 o'clock. My goodness. Y'all, I think I'm going to close it down before too long. Not quite yet. Maybe give it another 15, 20 minutes, something like that. But I'm gonna have to close it down because I have some plans later with my wife. So I'm going to have to. Yeah, Don. Well, that's the thing is that magicians, we get into a magician mindset. Here's what we forget as magicians. We spend all our time looking at magic, accumulating a lot of knowledge as far as secrets and whatever. We only talk to other magicians. And then what happens is that we live in a subculture and we're in a bubble. And so like all of our thinking is in this bubble. And we don't really ever take into account our audiences. And that's why I think it's so dangerous to be just an armchair magician. If you don't perform for people that aren't outside of your magic club, and that could just mean your friends and family who aren't magicians, right? That doesn't mean you have to go out and be a professional magician or something like that, or perform for people everywhere you go. But if you never perform any of the effects that you know for people who aren't magicians, then you really can't, in my opinion, offer a valid. You can't offer an opinion. Because you don't know enough about how a real audience thinks and behaves to offer an opinion. Right? It's an echo chamber. You learn a new trick, you show your magic club, that's awesome. Get some critiques on it, that's awesome. It's all valuable stuff. But then you can't then base your opinion on if an effect is good or not based on how other magicians think about it necessarily, right? In that scenario, you have to perform it for yourself for live, real people that are not magicians, don't know how magic works, and then be able to formulate an opinion on it. And that's I think something that's missing a lot. And I won't point out certain message boards, but there are certain message boards where where you might want to get magic coffee shop, if you know what I'm talking about. And there are a lot of people on there that don't perform for real people. There's plenty of professionals on there that go on there, and there's plenty of people who are experienced magicians, and there are a lot of people, hobbyists or amateur, who perform for their friends and family very frequently, and that's great. But then there's a larger, louder majority of people who don't know what the hell they're talking about. So it's like, no, you shouldn't get that one. That one's crap. It does this, this, and this. You really want to go look for this one. What you're doing is it's a bunch of people like, talking about cars who've never driven these cars, right? It's like you don't know what you're. I mean, like on paper that this engine's faster and it's supposed to handle better. But if you actually driven either of these, I'm sure you'd be happy with this one, even though it does on paper maybe it looks better, right? That's why people choose iPhones. Androids are far more powerful in a lot of ways and can do a lot more. But people like iPhones because they like how they can interact with it. It just fits how they think better, right? So it's like, no, it's not as powerful, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, right? It just has to be the right fit for you. So that's why I hate when people like dig on magic without knowing anything about it, or offering suggestions on the better or right way to do something without knowing anything about it. Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't have to be complicated or magician fooling to be good magic, right? It doesn't. You can. I mean, God, you show this to a 4-year-old, it's gonna blow their mind, right? It's all about. But you wouldn't know that. You'd look at it if you just show this to other adults. They think that's like, oh, that's cute. But you should. But if you perform for an audience outside of your normal audience, you'll get some really cool feedback on what's good and what's not, right? So it just depends. Who are you performing for? Are you performing for other magicians? Or are you performing for laymen? Then I think you can offer an opinion on the validity of a trek for a real audience. If you're only judging it, anyway, I'm rehashing. Anyway, so colleges, all right. Been performing magic. Even performed a bit for the deans. That's cool. Maybe you make the dean's list of coolest magician. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad that you're starting to fit in and feel comfortable there. That's great. I know that my first experiences with college. I didn't live in a dorm or anything. I went to a community college, a couple of streets that way actually, like 100 years ago. But when I did that, yeah, magic was one of the first things you break out, right? Because it's like, yeah, here's a facet of who I am, and it's a cool way to make friends and start talking to people. So that's great. That's why I like the Apple, because of the user experience with the GUI. Yeah, mine broke now. I have a cheap Android that hangs up on people. Yeah. Well, Android is a big range. That's a story for another time. That's like getting into the Star Wars movie, which I'm not gonna do. We've had some bad blood on the channel about the Star Wars movies. But yeah, it's because you like the user experience. You don't need it to be more powerful. You just need it to do what you want it to do, and do it in a way that makes it easy and seems logical for you to accomplish, right? So yeah, I think Apple proved that, right? You don't need to do whiz bang deluxe model with all the bells and whistles. You don't need it necessarily. Sometimes you do, right? Like there are some effects that I'll go, oh yeah, I'm gonna get the extras. Give me the extras because I know I'm gonna need them for whatever. But yeah, most of the time it's work it out for yourself. You hypnotize some people too. I imagine with the how to read or how to control minds box. I still want to hear your full thoughts on that, Justin. That's something I gave a swing and a miss to. I was like, do I really need any more mentalisty anything? Not really. Maybe some tools and stuff, but like as far as routines and downloads and stuff, I don't really need any more of that. Oh wow, that's cool. That's a great end, man. You just roll into campus and you're like, hey, what's up? What's up, Dean? How's it going, Vice President? How's it going? Yeah, that's cool. That's a I'm sure very comfortable transition. I might be able to help you with the boot loop. Actually, 6S Plus was actually a kick butt phone. I might be able to help you with that. Your bag phone? We call in for airstrike or something. Back in my day, when we had a mobile phone, we meant that it was attached to a car. Giving you a hard time, Don. Oh, excuse me for a second. I'm getting a knock on the door. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. One of my babies needed me. So yeah, um, I've been doing fantastic. Been keeping really busy. What do we learn in school today? Yeah, I've been doing good. Been doing good. Starting to come out of my 2 weeks off, and starting to book stuff. I got stuff booked out to December already, which is awesome. Um, yeah, car phones are awesome. Batman had a car phone. Yeah. Don't have any classes on Friday. Oh, there you go. That's when you go out and party. That's when you go out and you live the college life, and you do the no, you do the responsible thing, and you go and you study, and you go to study group, and you quiz each other with 3x5 cards on the components of a cell. Right? Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Bill. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's plenty of time for partying right before you get married and have kids. Work on your, focus on your studies, Justin. It costs money to go to school. I'm still paying student loans. I'm 34 years old. I'm still paying student loans when I went to college when I turned 18. Yeah. Oof. Careful with those student loans. Those will haunt you for the rest of your life if you're not careful. Yeah. Try to when you get out of college, you should be or when you're about to get out of college and enter the workforce, you should really look for somewhere that will pay for your student loans when you work there as a perk. That's a thing. Not going to get any loans. That's a smart idea. That is a very good idea. Good idea. Well, ladies and gents, I think I am going to have to sign off. Unfortunately, I hate to do that because I love seeing everybody here. We've had really great viewership, really good conversation. But as I said, I have some plans with my wife, so I definitely have to go do those. Good to see you all. I'm gonna try to be here. I don't know if Friday nights are always going to be the night that I do it moving forward because I'm starting to get booked for a lot of Friday nights, as you would expect. But I will find a new day during the week, or I will try to at least give some forewarning on the community page. If you're subscribed, you'll get notifications whenever I leave a community post. And I'll try to warn people when I'm about to go online whenever it's not a Friday night. But yeah, trying to get back in the swing of this. Bear with me. Lots going on. Got some ideas for some things I'm going to be talking about in the next couple of videos. But live streams are great because they're fun just to come and hang out with y'all. Y'all have a wonderful evening, and I will talk to you really, really soon. Yeah, and tell all your magic friends about the channel and have them come by. It'd be cool to see them. All right, see y'all soon. Like, subscribe. YouTube garbagey, you know all the stuff. I'll see you guys really, really soon. Take care.